I just got these boxes in the mail, and inside are 2 of the new Ninjago Dragons Rising sets. Today, we'll be opening these up and taking a look at all of the builds and minifigures that await, so stick around to find out just how good or bad these sets are, and let's get into it. First up is the Tournament Battle Arena. With its 659 pieces and 6 killer minifigures, this looks to be a very interesting set. Cracking it open, and we have 6 paper bags, the instructions, and a sticker sheet. Now to let the building commence. A little while later, it's complete. This set really surprised me. It's far better than I expected, but also quite a bit bigger. Set pictures really don't do it justice. Here's a size comparison with 2021's Tournament of Elements set, and more recently, next to the Dragonstone Shrine, which admittedly was pretty small, but it still gives you a good idea of the scale. The set is built in 4 sections, which range in size, all plugging into the battle platform at the front, so you can change the orientation easily. For example, if you want the drum front and center, you can do that. The smallest area features weapon storage with a sword, spear and scythe for characters to choose from, plus a tree growing out the side with orange leaves. There are also some more exposed pins at the back to attach this to the polybag or the Tournament Temple City. More on that in a future video though. The other side has a big platform area. I think the sand green base adds a nice contrast to the red, but still shows off the importance of this area, which I do like. There are steps leading up to a giant red, black and gold drum with drum beaters displayed on either side of it so you can get into the tournament spirit. At the back is a big red lever, which can only mean one thing. If you pull on it, the drum will come crashing down onto whoever is unfortunate enough to be in its way. It's a really simple mechanism, just using some Technic lift arms, but it works perfectly. There is a big gap in the middle that I'm not a fan of though. I do like this little bit of decoration on the side though, complete with a small tournament banner. Both sides have a small red walkway area into the main arena, lined with inverted archways. And right at the front we have 2 platforms for minifigures, surrounded by a red floor with gold ingots lining the edge, adding a nice look to the whole thing, really helping to focus your attention on the main event. The 2 platforms can be moved around by twisting these at the sides, pushing them forwards and backwards to simulate a battle taking place. Having elevated platforms helps put the contenders in the spotlight, but I think rotating platforms would have been better when it comes to simulating battles. The largest section is also the best, with steps leading up to the huge sensei statue overlooking the entire arena. I love how this has turned out. Sitting in a meditating position, it's very similar to the statue from the first Spinjitzu Masters 2, and whether that was intentional or not, I love it. The red banners hanging from its back have stickers with the same symbol that's on the drum, and I love how his beard has been made. Dark grey just like the legs to stand out from the body, with curved tiles used for the shaping. The rice hat in dark grey is also a fantastic recolour, and it adds an excellent finishing touch. The arms attached to the body with mixel joints, so you can move them around to change how you want to display it, but the hands do break off pretty easily since they're just attached with the little clips. The left hand holds a big scroll, which reads T of the S in Ninjago language, of course standing for Tournament of the Sorcerers. The other hand meanwhile holds a small golden Source Dragon statue, a really cool new piece, and the face is actually quite similar to the Dragon Strike gimmicks. You can plop the whole statue off the stand really easily, as it's sat on red and gold tiles just like the arena. There's greenery around the staircase to cover up the Technic pins, which is a great use of parts, and I like the little dark green plant pieces on the sand green leaf to add a little bit of extra detail to them. I also love the sticker details around the statue, with the golden dragon head bursting out. It really adds a nice little extra detail to the scene. Pulling this red lever activates the final feature of the set, collapsing the staircase at the front, throwing people down into the arena to stop them getting to the statue. Now let's take a look at those fantastic minifigures, starting with the brand new Wolf Mask Warrior. I love the shatter spin claws towering over the back, they look incredible. I think the trans red really works well. They've got a good amount of articulation, letting you twist them around, close up the claws, and get all sorts of great looking poses with them. The minifigure design itself is very different to earlier in the year. I love the claws sticking from behind the purple, that looks really cool. I also really like the big Wolf Clan symbol on the back. While I am definitely a fan of this new design, I do prefer the original Wolf Warriors. I think their robes were just a better design, and the colour scheme felt a lot more consistent. The mask is now in red and purple too, but the face print below is the same as earlier in the year. I understand why they did it, but it does look massively out of place with the new colour scheme. For the ninja, we have Kai and Sora in tournament suits. Kai is definitely my favourite. He's got that all new sleeveless tournament suit which has a golden dragon sash running down the left side showing MOF, Master of Fire, in Ninjago language. The backprint is also brilliant, with a huge dragon head surrounding his ninja symbol. It all gets covered up by the new shoulder armor piece, which is very similar to the 2016 version. And on both the front and back, Kai's suit is very similar to Cole's, who of course does come in the new polybag, which is again a really awesome minifigure. And yeah, I love the earth dragon heads, all the rock symbols coming up there. A really cool minifigure to go along with Kai. He comes with plenty of swords to wield, including this large dual-bladed one, making use of this new katana piece. The hilt is the same, but the blade is significantly shorter. This is definitely a contender for the best Dragons Rising Kai minifigure in my opinion. And in terms of actual tournament suits, I definitely rate it higher than the legacy versions, although I'm not sure how I would judge it against the original tournament suits from 2015 just yet. Sora meanwhile has a much more unique look to her suit, which makes sense to kind of separate the new ninja from the old ninja, and I love that we've still got this printed golden arm on one side, and she has got this big S symbol on her back with the little cat ears as well to kind of make it unique for Sora. And I also love to see the return of this brand new hairpiece for her. Cinder now has a ghost tail to represent his smoke powers and a silver shatter spin armor piece, which pairs nicely with a completely revamped robe design. It's more unique to him this time, with awesome copper smoke details all over it and the Wolf Clan symbol on his back. I definitely think this is a much better redesign than the brand new Wolf Warriors. The return of Tox after 10 years is simply brilliant, and actually in a Ninjago set this time is even better. She wields a purple and green Aeroblade and is instantly recognisable with her grey legs and lime green jacket. I think this is a really good update to her original figure. The face is quite similar, but she's got a brand new hairpiece, now using Storm's hair from the Marvel series in lime green. Personally, I don't think it looks as good as her original hair though. The symbol from her old minifigure can be seen on the back, with toxic splatters actually spelling out her name there. That is a really fun little detail. But this is definitely a highlight of this set. I'm really happy with how this minifigure turned out, and again, it's great to see Tox in an actual Ninjago set after 10 years. And finally, as for Evil Jade, just what an incredible minifigure this is. I love that the suit is basically just a revamped version of the Wolf General suits from earlier in the year. That is such a cool detail, but now kind of unique to Jade with all those yellow lightning symbols coursing through it. It just looks incredible. He's got the new shoulder armor in black to hold two swords, and a brand new colour for that mech pilot mask, now in black and dark blue. The face is nothing new, while the backprint below the armor shows off the symbol of the Wolf Clan with more lightning coursing through it. It's a shame that it all gets covered up by the armour. For $50 then, this is one that I highly recommend. It's got a great selection of minifigures and a build that I really think you'll have a lot of fun putting together. It really did surprise me with just how good it is, and I definitely think it's worth the money. Moving on, and now we have the big one. This is the Source Dragon of Motion. The biggest Lego dragon ever made, coming in at over 1,700 pieces. The box for this one is a brand new style, with lots of tape to cut, and then the top just pops off like so. Inside are a whopping 19 paper bags, a plastic wing sheet, 5 instruction books, and a delightfully small sticker sheet. The idea with this new box is that you can use it as a tray to keep all the pieces in one place while you're building, so there's no need to use any containers of your own. This was a very long build, but it was very enjoyable, consisting of smaller builds snapping together to build up the full set, with each book focusing on a specific area. It also means that you can take it apart into more manageable sections, which makes storage much easier if you need to transport it or just make space for something else for a change. The finished product is nothing short of stunning. What an absolute behemoth this thing is. It's not just the biggest Ninjago dragon ever made by a small margin, it absolutely blows the competition out of the water. It makes the Skull Sorcerer's dragon look tiny, which is no easy task. The dragon is big enough as it is, but there's also this huge throne towering on top, which really adds to the height of the set. You can remove it from the body really easily, and it's covered in spiky railings to protect the riders and also intimidate those who come across this thing. There's space for a few minifigures to stand around, with the actual throne raised up slightly for Lord Raz to sit on, and the signs next to it read Wolf Clan. The wolf head up top is well made, and I kinda like it more than the one on the dojo. It feels very Chima-esque, which, as a huge Chima fan, is really awesome to see. Hanging from it is the Gong of Shattering, which we're all familiar with now. Back to the dragon itself, and where to even start? From head to tail, it's bigger than the original Ninjago city, with an equally impressive wingspan of over 70 centimeters. So yeah, it's enormous, but does that size come at a cost? Well, a little bit, but I think a decent enough balance has been struck. Both sets of legs are able to move forwards and backwards, but they are a bit more limited than usual because the way the body has been designed means there aren't many gaps between the legs and the body, which is great when it comes to actually looking at the set. It gives it a much more complete appearance, and I really like that. You do have to be careful though, especially with those front legs, as when they move too far back, in some cases they can bash into the wings, and I have found that some of the pieces can break off if you go too far. The actual design of the legs though, I think is really awesome. They're perfectly scaled for this dragon, and are mostly dark red in their colour scheme, scheme with bits of gold for the back knees and also for the shoulder armour on the front legs. The feet on both sets of legs are attached on ball joints, so they've got plenty of articulation to move around, and I love the gold claws continuing that kind of gold accented colour scheme that this dragon has. And they've also all got rubber pieces in the bottom to increase the friction on smooth surfaces. You can really get hold of this dragon and move it about and it won't collapse, unlike some other dragons from the past. The body has got a lot of great detail. I love the use of the Nexonite shields to kind of add that scale texture to it. I love the gold underbelly which runs all the way up to the neck. And I also love the way the trans orange detail runs down the back and right into the tail. It really helps with that fiery appearance that this dragon has. The tail itself can rotate around as it is on a ratchet joint of its own, and it can also move up and down as well. And then running down into that we get these smaller sections which are all attached with mixel joints, so they can swoosh side to side. And that trans orange continues all the way down to the very end, with this marbled blade piece adding a great finishing touch to the tail. The body is also broken up into two sections, and in the middle it's all held together with ratchet joints. And it really helps break this body up from just being one solid piece and makes it feel more lifelike with that articulation right in the middle of the torso. There's more of that gold armour on top, which is where the saddle is. Of course, this is the section where the big throne for Lord Raz can sit. It just attaches over that brown plate, and then it attaches to these clip pieces that are sat at the side. And this brown piece does also act as an actual saddle for a minifigure to ride it. The wings of this dragon are also incredible, and I love that we've got a continuation of that trans orange detail. They are on ratchet joints, so you can twist them around many different ways, and you can also flap them up and down. And I also love the extra joint in the middle, so you can change the actual shape of the wings themselves. They do use these plastic sheet pieces with more of that transparent orange colour scheme. They have a really nice flame look to them. I love the way these wings have turned out. I do prefer the fabric wings that some of the older dragons like the Morrow Dragon and the Skull Sorcerer's Dragon used, but I don't think these plastic ones are bad at all. The neck is yet another area that is attached with a ratchet joint, so once again you can twist it around 360 degrees. You can't actually move the neck up and down. That's because of the way this has been designed to cover up as many gaps as possible. If you bring the front legs as far back as they will go with the wings out of the way, you can get the head of the dragon to actually touch the ground without moving the neck, so it's only a small sacrifice that's been made. Of course, the rest of the neck is on ball joints, so you can move this middle section around as much as you like, and also the actual head of the dragon itself. This head is huge. It does use two big moulded plastic pieces, and to be honest, I probably would have preferred a fully brick-built head for this one. I think that kind of Haunted Dragons style of dragon head would have worked absolutely perfect here. There are a lot of pieces that go into actually making the head that attaches to those moulded pieces, so it is kind of a best of both worlds situation. And I love the return of these climber hook pieces now being kind of used as antlers for the dragon. It just makes for an incredible dragon head, and yeah, it really does add such a nice finishing touch to the whole dragon. There are also 6 transparent Source Dragon spirits, which use clear pieces for a floating effect. It's the same piece as the golden statue, just in transparent orange, and I think they add a nice finishing touch to the set, having them float around the big dragon itself. And as well as those, we get 6 minifigures in total. First of all, Kai and a Shatterspin Wolf Warrior, who were both in the tournament arena earlier. For such a big set though, I think 1 or 2 more Wolf Warriors was definitely needed here. Then Wyldfyre in her tournament suit. We saw this one in the March wave, but I do love that smiling flame on her back. That leaves us with Arin, Lord Raz and Jordana. First up we've got Arin in his new tournament suit. It's predominantly orange with some blue highlights, which I do think adds a nice little contrast to the suit. His robes are very different from those of Kai and Cole and are much more similar to Sora's, so it's nice to see that we've got the old Ninja unified and the new Ninja unified, but standing out from one another. The print under the armor piece is pretty simple though, and he does come equipped with one of the brand new swords and his iconic grappling hook. Next is Jordana, who gets this silver Shatterspin armor just like Cinder, and as for the actual minifigure herself, while I do like this new figure, I definitely prefer the original, and I don't think this is as good an upgrade as that of Cinder, but it is still a really good minifigure. And finally, it's Lord Raz, who wields an updated Mallet of Shattering, now with transparent red studs. This minifigure is absolutely incredible, easily the best of the set, and possibly of this entire summer 2024 set wave. I love that his tiger stripes are now in red to match with the blood moon, and he has got the return of the arm print. Just looks incredible there with that red printing. He has got his own kind of shirtless look. We've got those blue blades there, and he's got this brown belt and really cool back printing as well, which has that Wolf Clan symbol chained over his back. Honestly, it's a shame that this is the cheapest way to get him, because this is a really brilliant minifigure and I wish it was more easily available. And there is the summer 2024 minifigure collection so far. Of course, we're still missing Mech Cole from the Titan Mech, plus Tournament Lloyd, Zane and Nia, and some others who all come in the final set we need to look at, Tournament Temple City. But this giant terrain piece deserves a full video of its own, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss it. And I'll see you again very soon.